Hey everyone, it's David H. Medium here, and thank you so much for stopping by my channel today. If you haven't liked and subscribed to the channel yet already, please do so now. You know where to click. So every time I upload a new video, you guys get notified and you're then able to follow my video series on all things psychic and spiritual. So grab your cup of tea or cup of coffee, head over with me now to the Morning Lounge, which is part of the Spirit Lounge video series with myself, David H. And I will see you there. Hello everybody, good morning or good afternoon or good evening, wherever it is in the world you're watching from. Thanks for coming back to the channel and thanks for joining me for episode 2 in the Morning Lounge. I've got my cup of tea here ready to have a chat. Hope you're comfortable, got your cup of tea, a cup of coffee as well, because in this episode we're going to talk about the difference between a psychic and a medium. So let's get into it. So many people believe that being a psychic and being a medium are the same thing, but actually they're not. They are two very different things. They are basically two different ways of working. So let's start having a look at it now. So a lot of people think that a psychic is somebody who reads another person using tarot cards and crystal balls, but there's a lot more to it than that. A psychic is someone that can pick up on energy, and usually that of a living person, and be able to look into their past, their present, and their future. Whether it is using tarot cards or just that innate intuition and psychic ability. They may pick up on actually how that person is feeling. Now, as we know, not everyone presents themselves as a true reflection of how they're feeling inside. But the psychic may be able to pick up on those feelings of how the person is really feeling, although they're not displaying it. They may pick up on what a person's been through in their past. They may pick up on what the person had for breakfast. But it's usually information that the psychic would have no way of knowing, have no prior knowledge of. They may even be able to look into the person's future and see what's to come. But either way, being a psychic actually has nothing to do with a connection to the spirit world. But being a psychic can go even further than that. It comes back to energy. So a psychic is able to connect with their energy and bring through the energetic information, whether you call it from source or from the universal energy, and bring information through almost like a download of information into the minds and interpret that through their own frame of reference. Now, this is not just information about people, but about a certain situation or events. Now, we use intuition in everyday life, and you can be the most skeptical person in the world, but you still have that innate intuition which every human being has. So let me give you an example, and not everyone's going to agree with this, but think about this. So let's take the police force, right, or detectives, or whatever you want to call them, who are working on a case. Now, we understand that the police detectives, they need tangible evidence. They need things that they can see, that they can touch, that is factual evidence, okay, to crack a case. And I get that, and that's how it should be, right? If you're going to, prosecute somebody or, close a case, you need the actual factual evidence which you can see in front of you, okay? I get that. But then look at the hunches that the police may get, right? And we all get them, but the police will call them a hunch. It's where they get a feeling that something isn't right, or this person actually might be involved, or that person isn't involved, or this is where I need to look, and that's where I don't need to look. Now, they will call them hunches. I call them psychic impressions or intuitive information that they have received, and it's manifested in the way in which their body interprets that information, which is a gut instinct, and again, what they would call a hunch. Because those hunches are not things they've logically thought about, right? So picture this in your head. They're sat at their desk or whatever they're doing, and they're thinking about the case, and suddenly they get a feeling about something. Again, that's just information that's being downloaded into their brain, and their body's interpreting that information in a certain way, whether that's through a vision or whether that's through a feeling or whatever it might be. And I don't have the data for this, but I feel, or I assume actually, that most of those hunches actually do lead to somewhere into gaining more information about the case or even breaking the case, because they've followed that gut instinct. Now, they're not going to call it psychic information because that's not logical to them. And the police force are logical people, right? I do feel most people in the police force are logical because they are problem solvers. They're solving cases and bringing people to justice, right? So that's logical to them, the way they think. So what I do to them is not logical. So where I would call it psychic information that they're getting, they will still call it a hunch. So let's add another example to that, just to show how intuitive we all are. Let's take a business person. A business person who is quite logical and analytical is not successful when they're not intuitive, because you're dealing with contracts and business deals, and you need to feel, is that contract right? Is that business deal right? Is that person I'm dealing with, are they the real deal? Or are they a bit shady? And that's different to the logic, because the logic mind will tell you to sign that contract because it brings in X amount of money, which puts food on your table and which pays your bills and might buy you a nice car. But it doesn't necessarily mean that that deal is right for you. And at the end of it, you get burnt. And we've all been there, whether it's been a business thing or a relationship thing, where we've felt that something wasn't quite right, but yet we've ignored that and done it anyway. And then you do get hurt. You do come out the other end of it not having a nice situation. You don't get anything from it that benefits your life. So my advice is for anyone, whether it's in business or whatever it might be, follow your gut instinct, because that will never let you down. That is there to serve you and to help you make the correct decisions. I have to add that being psychic doesn't mean giving predictions. And I think when you do use the word psychic, people jump on that and go, oh, you must tell me what my life story is, give me predictions, tell me what's going to happen. I, for one, don't do psychic readings. I don't give predictions because I, for one, am not Nostradamus. I will use my psychic ability in a different way. So that could be if I'm working on a missing persons case, or I might pick up something about somebody during a spiritual reading, or I might get some information on a personal situation, or sometimes world events that I will get things dropped in my head. And I don't share those things with people online because it's not about ego. It's more about, okay, I understand that, and therefore I understand that I am able to connect in on a psychic level as well as spiritual level. So it's more of a learning journey for me as well when it comes to doing psychic stuff. What I will say is everyone has that intuition and that gut instinct, which is part of psychic ability. I wouldn't call everybody psychic unless you have developed it to a certain extent to which you can then help other people. Because being psychic is about doing this work day in and day out, helping other people. It's not a self-serving ability, it's to serve and help others. So although yes, everyone has that ability, not everyone, you can't call everyone a quote unquote psychic. It's a little bit like we all have our own abilities. I have a psychic ability and a mediumship ability, but I don't have the ability, I can't sing, so I don't have the ability to sing. Some people do. Some people have the ability to play lots of musical instruments. I don't have the time or the patience for it, so I couldn't. Some people are great sports people or are great footballers. I can't. I mean, I don't even know what side of the ball to kick. So we all have our own abilities, right? And being psychic is just one of mine. As mad as this might sound, and yes, I'm very aware how mad this sounds, but a medium is somebody who basically has the ability to communicate with those that have passed over. In basic terms means we can talk to dead people. Now, a medium's job is to bring through evidence and messages from those that have crossed over to prove that they live on just in a different world, whether you call that the spirit world or the next dimension. Now, these pieces of evidence should be the random, specific pieces of evidence that the person you are reading for, the client or the sitter, however you want to term it, only they can understand what the evidence is pertaining to. Because as a medium, the information that comes through to me is not for me, it's for the sitter. So I don't need to understand what the information coming through is. I just pass it on to the client so they can interpret it and understand it in the way that it fits for them. That is a medium's job. So it leaves the client in no doubt that when you're communicating with their loved ones in the spirit world, that they know that with the evidence you've brought through, that there's no shadow of a doubt that you are communicating with their loved ones in spirit. Mediums are not taught or trained to give predictions. That is the job of a psychic. Because all mediums are psychic, naturally they may pick up on some psychic information about the person or the client they are reading for. Because as the saying goes, all mediums are psychic, but not all psychics are mediums. So if the medium does happen to pick up something that's not happened yet, then obviously we are free to give that information to the client. But that's only if spirit push us to give that piece of information. But apart from that, we don't give predictions when we're doing spirit readings. So in summary, basically the difference between a psychic and a medium is that the psychic tunes into the energy of a living person and reads their energy, looking at their past, present, and future, whereas a medium, they are tuned into the spirit world and their job is to bring through evidence and messages from the world of spirit to prove that there is life after physical death. But you will see many mediums these days calling themselves a psychic medium, which is a bit of an oxymoron because, as I said, all mediums are psychic anyway. So what it could be telling you is that they work in two ways. They work both psychically and mediumistically. However, from what I've seen and what I've experienced, most mediums only work in a mediumistic way and don't work on a psychic level. So if you are looking for a reading and you want someone to look into your future or your past or present or whatever it might be, then look for a psychic. If you're wanting to connect with somebody in the spirit world, then you need to look for a medium. I think the term psychic is just used as an umbrella term for what we do, but actually it's not correct. And not to sound snobby about it, but I do feel it's important that when you are advertising yourself, that you present yourself in the correct way and it represents what you actually do. So I am known as David H. Medium because I'm a medium and I offer mediumship readings. I don't offer psychic readings. And I know on my Facebook page, I am advertised as David H. Psychic Medium, but that page has been there for 2.5 years. And back then, when I was new to this, I wasn't sure how to brand myself, but now I know how to brand myself and I'm just known as David H. Medium because that's what I do. So I just feel it's really important that whoever you are, if you are an upcoming medium or a psychic, is that you do represent yourself the right way so people truly know what they're going to get when they come to use your services. So I hope this video has been useful. I hope you found it informative, interesting, and I actually really hope it's answered the question about what is the difference between a psychic and a medium. But in the next couple of episodes, we're going to get into the communication and how we receive that information, whether it's psychically or mediumistically, what that communication looks like and how we work and how that comes through. So I hope you stay with me and I hope you do continue to follow the channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and hopefully I will see you in episode 3.